We go. There we go. So welcome, everybody.
So tonight we're going to go through cybersecurity. Um, Cybersecurity can be a really technical, very, high level discussion of applications and softwares and all these things you need to do. And quite honestly, the best cybersecurity that exists is between your ears. It's when you see something that doesn't feel right, much like if you were walking on a street and you suddenly get this feeling like something's off. You'll know that you maybe want to cross the street, go into a store. I mean, you've had these moments where you've been around someone, they start talking to you, and you're like, something, I'm not sure. The same feelings happen when you're paying attention online. And when you have those feelings, listen to them. You're intelligent, strong people. You don't need to know what's the best virus protection. You don't need to know what's the best this. The very best protection is your own instincts. So when something feels kind of, you stop, you think, and then you react. So to start off, I'm going to show you a few examples of phishing, which is when people try and trick you to either click a link or give away your personal information. At any time during this session, you can pop in with a question. You don't have to wait till the end. You can put it in the chat, or you can raise your hand or unmute your microphone. We're not that big of a group. Because very often a cybersecurity concern that you have, it's better to answer that question right in the moment. So please don't wait till the end for any questions as we move through. So I'm going to look at a very basic one right now. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you an image of an email. And on this email, we're just going to look at it quickly. It says, "Hi, Michael. Please find the enclosed vendor banking instructions for a payment that was supposed to go out in the previous week. I need you to process it immediately. I'm a bit busy right now, but I'll give you a call within the hour regarding the payment. Regards." And then sent from my mobile. And a few things. This was a real email, so it's redacted here. So one of the ways that someone tries to get into your computer, get into your information, is to make you feel afraid. Because when someone's afraid, or someone's concerned, or someone's alarmed, that front part of the brain takes over and our critical thinking disappears. So here are some things in this email that say, So number one, he's talking about the payment was supposed to go out on the previous week. So it's making you feel like you didn't do your job. You messed up. You were wrong. Trying to create that ooh feeling. I need you to process immediately. There's a timestamp. You have to do it now. There's no choice but to do it now. Don't think, just do it. So they're trying to keep the critical brain from working. And then it goes on to say, I'm a bit busy right now, but I'll give you a call within the hour regarding the payment. So again, it's trying to put this sense of it needs to be done immediately. Don't think, just do. Those three lines in there are indications that I would call this person first and make sure that they really sent the email. That's the best virus protection on the planet, is just looking at things critically. Let's look at another one and we'll see if we can find it. Okay, so here's another one that is from Sterling Savings Bank. And it says that they haven't received a contract termination letter. You may have been intentionally overlooked our invoice. If you're going to bring an end to the account, be informed in early withdrawal, penalties reply, refer to this document for billing information. So it sounds very, very official. It sounds right. Does anyone here see something that makes them go, no, I don't know about this. It seems strange. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead, Beth. I can see you're about to unmute. Go ahead.
Um, well, maybe, I don't know if there's a couple of things, but first of all, it does say refer to the attached document. I don't think there's an attachment.
Okay.
So they want you to go look around for something that could give you more information,
Oh,
but there isn't anything there. I don't know. And the other one too, it's got hi John Kestakskin, and that's not you. So
right.
I've gotten emails to somebody saying hi Michael to me, and I go, gone now. I'm not going to talk to you. So I mean, if this was intended for you, doesn't have your
Mhm.
name for one,
Exactly.
but it's the wrong name.
Now here's another one that I'm going to show you. This is the first place you could check. Your
It looks like
sensor
an
just went
email.
off.
I was
You're
going to
Looks
like,
say the email address is a little odd since it's.
thank you,
yeah,
Tammy.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Tammy. And that is the first place you should check when you get like one of these weird, hey, you got to do this right now. There's a problem, money, no, emergency, emergency. If we
Right.
look at the top where it says it's from Doug Williams, but his email address is Chris, PID,
And
and
it's not even from
it,
the bank.
it's not coming from a bank or Lehigh University. It's t-online.de. So it's somewhere in Germany that it's coming from. So right here, that's a huge clue that there's something wrong with this email. So all the urgency was in there. Then the next place to check would be your email address and where it's coming from.
And Bill Jacoby said that they don't have an account with them, although it does, whether you'd have to know that that's not your account, but that account number
Right.
seems to be, bogus. You have to know that for sure.
True. That you have to know. But sometimes it is something that you do have an account with. Like Greylock,
Mhm.
every time I call Greylock, they say, hey, there's been scam emails going out where if it's not really from us, we never ask you for your password. So, it is local and it can happen. So here's another one for a refund notification that, oops, we double charged you for your last order. Your refund was initiated, but there's information you don't have the right billing address. Click here to update your billing address. So if you weren't expecting a refund from Amazon, contact them directly from Amazon.com and make sure, because by clicking to update your email address, what happens is something called a key logger. Once you click on it, it opens up a little a mini program that starts recording everything that you type on your computer. So every character, every enter key, all your passwords that you end up typing. So like your password normally has like little dots and stars so no one can see it looking over your shoulder. Well, the little keylogger can see it and it gets it. So that's a way that it gets onto your computer. So if you're not expecting a refund or a rebate or, hey, there's been a class action suit and you were part of this group that could be getting money, don't click on the link, but check with those actual real companies to make sure, send them a direct email, call them, get on the live chat. Okay, so here's one that comes in a lot. If anyone works in business, unusual sign-in activity. We noticed unusual sign-in. We found suspicious login attempts coming from Nigeria. And it's saying to call and get this number, go visit the website, a certified technician will provide you with the best resolution, blah, 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 blah. If you need to update your Windows device, all of these things here. When you get an email like this, verify that the phone number is really for Microsoft. And you can do that by going to Google search and just searching for that telephone number, 1-800 -8116 -3080, and verify that it's really a telephone number for Microsoft. Normally, they won't ask you to call them. They will say, we've noticed we're going to lock your account temporarily. You're going to use your multi-factor authentication. You won't get this. By calling them, what can happen, and this happened to my sister's in-laws, is he called them and they said, oh boy, you've been compromised. Let me take over your computer and I will fix it for you. And they said that I'll fix everything for you. And then they wanted to be paid in gift cards. And if you've been to, grocery stores, whatever, they usually, when you buy a gift card, it has like a little sign there that says, hey, be aware of online fraud with gift cards. Here's why that's important. They want gift cards because then they're not stealing your money. Legally, you're giving them a gift. Even though it's not a person you know, it's not a person you like, it's not a person that you intended to give a gift. But if you give them the gift card number and the PIN, legally, you're giving someone a gift and it is not payment for a service rendered. So they just get that money for free. So this is why you see those signs and why you should always be careful if someone wants to be paid in gift cards. That's a big sign that it's not someone who's legitimate. Okay. Here's another.
Tammy has an example in the chat box that's very interesting.
Oh,
You should
please.
know about too. Yeah.
Can you read it? Because I can't get to the chat.
Tammy says in the last 2 days, she got 2 separate emails for Copake Town employees coming from their email address, their correct email address with a spreadsheet attachment. And so Tammy said she wasn't expecting anything, so she didn't click on it, but she contacted them directly to see if they sent something. They didn't send something. So, be aware of unexpected emails from or Town of Copake employees for sure. I mean, that was very specific, but just being aware of what people are sending you. So those people had been hacked. Those employees had been hacked and they were sending stuff that, erroneously. But I think you just have to be aware of any new attachment that's being sent to you that you weren't aware that was coming. You should know what somebody's sending you. And for sure that, good for you, Tammy. You kind of saved it before you clicked on it.
And Tammy did the textbook save, which is calling the sender, especially if you know them, and saying, hey, did you send this?
Right.
This is strange. Because these phishing attacks can come from an email that you know or that you're familiar with. Could even be like a family member where they've been hacked. Like, hey, do you mind opening up my shopping list for the party next weekend? And you're like, there's a party next weekend? Oh, she never keeps me in the loop. Make sure you double check. So here's an example here also of a typical phishing that happens where Netflix says, oh, you've canceled your service and you haven't. And you're like, wait a minute, I love Netflix. I'm watching Bridgerton right now. I can't, I want to click this. So if you click the restart your membership or the button, it'll actually end up giving your Netflix account to someone else, and then they will start using it, and then you could be fined for sharing your password with someone. So this is another example here. Okay. Now, here's another one. I'm going to zoom this one in here. I'm going to see if anyone, now that we've had those discussions, what do you see about that red box now?
The email address is way off.
Yep, exactly. It's supposedly coming from Amazon.com, which looks like a real, we know Amazon.com is real. But these brackets here tell you what it really is under the hood. So what the hacker did was, if you're in your cell phone and you have a telephone number and an email address for your daughter or your son or your husband, and you'll change their contact name to honey, sweetie, boo boo, or, your family member, or boss, work, do not pick up on the weekend. You'll make these um, names. So billing alert at Amazon.com, while it looks like an email address, it's actually the contact name that the person made for this fake hacking email address. So good catch on seeing that. And then we have an account. And then, of course, again, we have an attachment, which is another red flag. Excellent. Okay, we'll look at one more. Okay, so here's a newer version where they're using QR codes. And if used a QR code before, they kind of got prevalent during COVID, when you'd have menus and no one was handing out the menus, physical menus, you'd use your phone. Scanning the QR code will bring you to a space that is a hacker. So it's almost like clicking on a link. And what they'll do, this one happens to be in Spanish, but you'll see the QR code come across, or the QR code could be on a poster that says, hey, you want to get 60% off and a free coffee? Scan this QR code. And you scan it, and you've just given access to your phone and your contacts. So you need to be very careful with QR codes to make sure that they're housed on like a safe website, like, the Rojan Library. It's part of a menu. It's an advertisement on a known newspaper or a magazine. It's on a TV commercial. They're fine. But if you happen to see one of these QR codes and it's on like a light post, or it's not attached to a poster, use it with caution, especially if they're offering to give you something important or free by scanning it, as opposed to just information. Does that make sense? Is there any question about the QR code? Okay. So that is one of the newer ones. Now, with the age of AI, there's a new rash of phone calls that come in, and they sound exactly like your family member. Now I'm going to stop sharing a second, because I want to share with sound for a moment. Share. One, share sound, share. I'm going to show you a fake video of me, an artificially intelligent created video of me, and then we're going to discuss it. And I'm just talking about taking courses at a university.
Thinking about earning your degree but wondering if your past experience can count for credit? At SUNY Empire, we make that possible with our Prior Learning Assessment (PLA) process. Let's talk about how you can turn your knowledge into college credit.
Okay, so there was a still picture of myself that I gave to this AI engine. I read off a paragraph that was not those words. I read off, thank you, hey Jen, I give permission for you to take a voice imprint of my voice in order to generate a vocal simulation. I agree to this biometric hack. That's all I said. And then I gave it a script. And in that script, I told it to say all these things that I didn't say in my original email, my original voice dialogue there. So it's talking about SUNY Empire, prior credits, and it does a pretty good job of replicating my voice. So one of the, pretty good. I mean, if you were listening on a phone, and you were concerned, and they would pretended like there was background noise, like there was truck noises, and saying, I'm by the side of the road and I'm having some trouble. And it sounds very close to your family member. And please, you got to send some money because I need a tow truck. This happened to my mother. And it so happened that, it was her grandson, and they had harvested his voice and his information from TikTok. And they created this voice simulation of him, and he needed help. The only problem was her only grandson was on the living room floor, right in front of her. So she knew that it really wasn't him. So we have come up and as a family, as a way to protect ourselves from this growing threat of cybersecurity, that we have a code phrase. So I will say to my family, oh, okay. If I'm not 100% sure it's them, I'll say, hey, Martha, there's no Martha in our family. Martha is coming over this Sunday for dinner. Can you tell me what spices are available in the cabinet? And we'll just rattle off 5 random spices. And if the person, says, oh yeah, Martha, oh, I don't know what spices are in the cabinet, blah, 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 because they can type as you're talking and almost like a little puppet, they can make that voice talk back to you. So we have this phrase that we use. So we start talking about Martha, and then we say, hey, oh, Martha, yeah, there's parsley, sage, rosemary, thyme, pepper, whatever. We'll say those 5 spices and we'll know it's really a family member. So it's a growing concern that's happening in this new artificially intelligent cyber security threat. So it's a good thing to have a plan for that. So the next important information that I can give you is password creation and creating secure passwords. And passwords are annoying as all heck. Remembering what password you put down, where's the book that I wrote it down, then you have to have the certain numbers, characters, letters, uppercase, lowercase, blah, 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 blah. I came up with a trick in order to make very secure passwords they're easy to remember. Instead of making a password, use your dog and maybe put like the dog's name and make a 0 for the O and all of that. Use a pass phrase, but you take the first letter of each of the letters in the sentence. So if I were to say, I love my husband, he is great, married 10 years, exclamation point. My password would be the first letter in all of those. So ILMHHE, so instead of trying to remember a word, come up with a sentence where you're grabbing the first letter on each one of those phrases and then add a number into it, the number of family members, how many pets you have. If you watch football, your favorite quarterback's jersey number, whatever, and add that number in there. But by having a really secure password that's not written down anywhere is an excellent way to protect your information. So let's go pause there a second, see if there's any questions, because I did ask in the beginning when we got together if anyone had any cybersecurity questions or concerns that they really wanted to be addressed or answered tonight. So I'll give you an opportunity to chime in.
Would you use that same password then for all your accounts?
Well, I'm going to give you 2 answers on that one, Carol. That's a great question. That super, super secure one that I've memorized is usually the one that's my master password. That's the one that is for my email address. That would be the one for my banking, the really critical, gotta be lock solid. But if I'm signing up for newsletters or coupons or, just, regular things where there's no stakes, there's no money involved. I'll be honest, I'm kind of lazy about those, and I will reuse my password for those low stakes where there's no money involved, just to make my life easier for that. But everyone has their own threshold of what makes them comfortable online. So if you've come up with a method where it's easy for you to type in your password and it's a secure password, and you want to reuse the same password across all things, that's fine if that works for you. But you have to discipline yourself that maybe every 3 months or 4 months, you're going to pick a new password and you're going to change all your passwords again. I like to do two things at New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve is the day that I change my secure password with the passphrase. That's my banking one and my email one on New Year's Eve. And then the same day, I also go to the comptrollers and see if there's any free money waiting for me. So, the unclaimed funds. So I do both of them as part of my New Year's routine, and I have for years. So far, I think I'm up $75 with the unclaimed funds. No real big winners there, but I did have a couple nice meals on the money I left behind, so that was good. But I would do that for sure. There
Pam,
are
there are 2 questions on the chat.
Oh yeah, let's see if
Can
I
you
can
get them?
let me see if I get the chat open here. Let's see. Chat. Okay, let me go in here. Okay, there we go. And we do have how often do you recommend changing passwords? And me and Virginia are together, so I was just about to talk about the password manager. So password managers, again, I'm going to use the super passphrase locked in my head and not written anywhere password for my password manager. I personally use Google as my password manager. I save all of my passwords in Google when I'm doing it. I have it all listed there, and I'm going to share. You won't be able to see my passwords, but I'll show you where it's located. So here, if I go into Chrome and I go all the way over to the right where these 3 dots are, and then go down to settings and click. If I search the settings here, and remember all of this is being recorded, so don't try and write down too fast because we can revisit in the video. I'm going to type password, and you'll see that I have my Google Password Manager here. And if I click on that, this is where all my saved passwords are found. And if I wanted to look at any of these passwords, I can, but I have to type my computer's password in order to view them. So they're all saved here. So if you ever have a moment where oh no, I can't find my password. I don't know where I wrote that down. I could see it fills it in, but I can't see the password. This is where they're all saved. This is also where you can manage them. Also in Google, if you go, I'm going to go back one screen, and I had typed password here. You'll also see that it has a safety check for passwords. And if I click on that, it tells me if I have any compromised passwords that have shown up on the dark web or have been compromised or someone got it in a phishing incident. So here, if I click on compromised passwords, I wanted to have one there. It's checking all my passwords. And you'll see I have 87 reused passwords, which I just confessed that all my newsletters, I use the same password for it. If I click on the compromised password, it says that MetLife, if this was found in a data breach a year ago. And then it gives me a button where I can go and change the password. And I found this morning and I'm like, oh, this is great. I mean, it sounds silly, but I said, great, I have a spot where I can show the class tonight where they can go to have an automated check. So there are companies like LastPass and all kinds of, companies that will pay them to check. You can do this with just your Gmail account or your Google account. So I would click this, and by doing that, it'll bring me right to that website where I can log in and then change my password. So it's a great place to stay on top of your passwords with the checkout. It also tells me that I have some weak passwords. So a few of these, this one I can show you, weak password. Blackstone Unlimited. If I want to see it, I go to the three dots, select show password. I'm just going to put in my main computer password. So like I powered on my computer in the morning. Sorry, I'm having trouble typing. So like we first turn on your computer, you put your password in and I hit OK. It shows me the password, Books for Me 1. And this is a very old account that doesn't exist. So it's why I always felt comfortable sharing this one with you. And then I'm like, I don't use this one anymore. I can just delete it and get rid of that password. So it's a way that you can clean it out. So if you have old passwords in here that you don't use anymore, or you want to remove any passwords, this is a place where you can work on that. Okay. So next up, what I'm going to talk about next is social media. And
Pam, Joe Locke added a question, and I have the same sort of, he wants to know, what do you think of keys, which is a different level of security, that
Yes.
I've only noticed them lately. That seems to be a later keys or things that are required, or they're asking for them even on top of your password, right?
Yep. And I'm going to add another word in the chat, MFA, which is multi-factor authentication. So a passkey, I like them very much. What a passkey is, it's either a fingerprint or a tool or a device or sometimes a fob where it shows a code for 15 seconds. And then you have to match that code, put it in there, and before like the circle gets to the end, before it ends. There's also multi-factor authentication where it's not just getting a text message and you get a code and you have to put the code in. Sometimes they'll want your fingerprint or your eyes to look into your phone in order to do it. Those are excellent. And the reason why is the passkey ensures that a human being is using the password and not a robot or some sort of automated system, and ensures that the human being that was supposed to get it, the person who was physically holding the key fob or fingerprint, is the person who's getting it. You will find that many, many, many banks in the last few years have started to require these passkey keys or MFAs, because it's not enough to just put in a strong password, because like I was saying before, people write them down in books, they put them in Post-it notes and have it right next to the monitor. Under the keyboard, people put their passwords on a Post-it note under the keyboard, usually the top drawer of the desk. I mean, anybody who comes into your house who wants to find the written down password, there's probably 80% of the time those passwords are located in the exact same spot. But if you need to have a password nearby, and that's the way you like to have it, there is one thing I can suggest, which is write down your password, but then take a picture of it with your phone. Because then you have your password and it's locked in your phone, it's safe in your phone. But since it's a picture of the words, it's not the actual characters that have been typed in. So it's hard for someone to swipe and hack. So if you prefer to use that method and see a written down password, that's a way you can keep doing that and be more secure. You'll never have a moment where everything is perfectly secure because they're always trying. We're always trying to get through, which is why I'll circle back and mention again, it's your critical thinking and your instincts that is the best cybersecurity tool you have. If it feels strange, if it feels wrong, listen to your instincts. That's the most important cyber tool you have. So yeah, the great question about passkeys. Thank you very much. Okay, so social media. Social media by design, whether it's Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all of it, they want more members. They want more people to join their platform because they make the money on their advertising, and the more people who see the advertising, the more money they make. So when you first sign on to any social media, the default settings is public information. Anybody can see any of your posts. Anybody can see any of your profile information. Anybody can see anything that's part of your world. So with social media, it's important to find the privacy settings and toggle where you feel comfortable. Maybe you are someone who has a public profile. You work in politics, or you help people and you want to be found and it's okay to be public, leave it public. But maybe you want to set it at a level of friends only or people you choose only. All the social media platforms give you the ability to adjust your privacy settings. And I'm going to put a link in the chat. Social media platform. Here we go. And here is a guide. I'm going to put this here. It's from the wonderful website of the Woman Who Code. And this little website tells you exactly on LinkedIn, chat, Twitter, any of the social media platforms where you can go to change those settings. Now, the other thing to be aware of is, it's probably happened to some of you in the past where you go, oh, my Facebook account has been hacked. It says, oh, don't answer this one. It's been hacked. How do they get into Facebook? Well, from time to time, you might see a meme or a little picture, and it will be, oh, this is the cutest cat I've ever seen. I bet he won't get one like. And when you give that little cat a like, it ends up showing up in your feed. So if you go and you scroll and you scroll and you're like, I'm trying to see, it keeps everything you've ever posted. Well, 2 months from now, if you have a public profile, they're going to change that little kitten picture, oh, it's so cute, to a link to buy maybe cheap Viagra or some other type of link or a phishing link, and it'll end up in your friend's world and they will see it as something you liked, and they'll be like, oh, wow, I didn't know that they like to go to gambling in Bermuda, and they'll click the link, and then that's how they get in. So if you see something like, oh, I have someone in heaven, or, they try and do this a lot of times, like around Mother's Day or Father's Day, they'll say, like, if you have someone who is in heaven, or, share this prayer, to repost it. And those are beautiful moments, and those are beautiful thoughts that they're taking advantage of, which is not fair, especially if you're not, if you're grieving a little bit. or a lot. But the whole purpose of that is not to create a prayer chain, but is to have that access because they can go back in and edit that little kitty cat and turn it into something nefarious. So be very careful with resharing any of those things. You can, if you like that message and it's beautiful, make your own version of it. Type it up, share an actual picture of your family member if you're comfortable with that. But do be careful with those things with social media because that is a typical hack that happens. And you can check all of your different privacy settings. So some of the recommendations we've covered so far, strong passwords, trusting your instincts, checking your privacy settings. And then the other thing with social media to be careful of is to be mindful of what you post. So if you're planning on going on vacation and you're excited that you're going on vacation, or you're at vacation and you want to show these great pictures of, your mixed drink underneath a palm tree, you're advertising that you're not at home. You're telling someone that you are in Cancun and you're far away from your home and it's unoccupied. It's better to share vacation pictures after vacation with your family. Never post any pictures of tickets because that also says I'm going to be at a concert all night. I see your hands up, Meredith.
Yeah, as far as I'm not very into social media, but occasionally I'll get sent, you know, don't tell me that those multiplying Yorkies aren't real and aren't AI. That broke my heart. But
Oh,
like my sister will send me something and I'll send it back to her directly. So that's not the same thing as sharing or a
yeah,
thumbs up. And if you
that's not.
copy and paste something, like an article that you do see on Instagram and you
Mhm.
copy and paste and send it to them, that's not the same thing.
That's not the same thing.
So that's still safe.
That's still safe. It's when you use the repost within the platform itself. Everything you're describing is the perfect way to do it.
Okay.
And the way
Woo!
you're doing, yeah, you get the
Thank
gold
you.
star. Absolutely. And let's talk about fake videos because
Ugh.
yes, I had seen one of these AI videos of rescue dogs picking their owners.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm watching them hug. Well, yeah, they were all created by AI, just like that other image. But there are some tells on when someone is using a fake AI image. Now, we'll give you a list of those. So, how we detect AI images in 90 seconds. Let me see, that one's just a video. I want to show you images. Okay, so let's go here. So one of the biggest ways to tell if something is fake or artificially intelligent created is the hands. When you look at the hands, you will notice that they're a little bit off. There seems to be an extra finger in there. Hands are very difficult for artificial intelligence to get correct. The other one is to look carefully at the pupils. Let's see, here's a fake and a real dog too, so we can kind of compare these two. Yeah. Yeah. So this is so here, this is a real dog, and this is one created with artificial intelligence.
Mhm.
Now, if we look at the pupils, you'll see the light in the real dog lines up so that he's actually looking in the right direction. This one has eyes kind of a little too close. The fur looks too perfect, too symmetrical. Nature always has something a little little different, little off. So you can see one ear has extra wrinkles in it in the real dog, but you can see how carefully and how well artificial intelligence is working. And we can look at one thing here. Let's do this big or no. Here's AI, not, let's see. Is this image real or not? So we're going to go through here. So let's see, where is it? I had this bookmarked. I didn't think we would go this direction, but I'm glad we did. This AI or not images. It's one that I use. Image detector. Here we go. Here's another one. Okay. So here, again, with the fake image, you can see the eyes, the pupil, the lights in the pupil are a little bit off to the side. Look at the bangs. So again, so a perfect face symmetry is something that should be questioned. Or if their face is overly smooth or it feels different, look at the background. There was a video that I saw of the beach with a canopy over it, and the canopy curtains were blowing with the breeze. And it was off to the sides of the frame. It was focused on cheese and, a beautiful pineapple and a fruit bowl, and it was for advertising. But when you looked carefully at the curtains as they blew, they came back and they retied to their posts. Or I happened to notice that the pool, one of the chairs, the legs was inside the pool water. If it was real, it would tumble over. So look for the things in the peripherals of the image to see what is fake and not fake. Let's see. I think it's Aaron's game. I don't know, I'll find it. I'll put it in the link. Okay, here's another one. So this one here, here's a game that I do with my students. And in this game, you picture which one is AI, which one is fake. So raise your hand if you're on there, or give me a thumbs up if you think the one on the right is the fake one.
Thank you.
Or if you think it's the left, leave it down.
This one,
I'm going to say,
that one.
I am not AI. You see that? So the other thing, and we'll do a whole session on artificial intelligence. That was the one that skipped. And we'll cover all of these what are called deep fakes and these items that are being created in order to create propaganda. And it's not one side or the other that is involved in this, it's both. And sometimes it's not even for propaganda purposes, it's just clickbait. They want someone to click on their scary video or their interesting video. And the more clicks they get, the more money they get. So they don't even really care about whether they're supporting one party or another. So it's an interesting world. So when you see things online, check for the fingers. There's actually a thing that students are buying right now, where it's a rubber finger that they can add to their hand.
I just saw that today.
I
It is so creepy.
It's creepy, but what the kids are saying is, well, look at my fingers. My fingers are all wrong. It wasn't really me. It's an AI photo. So they have deniability. So the kids are getting fake fingers because they're realizing that AI cannot generate hands well. So again, just like any of the cybersecurity items where, they're trying to elicit an emotion, so you react and you share or you get upset. The same thing happens with those videos. So if you see a video and it's upset you, or it's elicit a strong emotion, look at the hands. If you saw those videos of the dogs picking their owners, when they hug the dogs, you look closely at their hands and you'd see there was extra fingers or it was like going like this and different. So check the hands in order to see if it's a real video or not.
But the Yorkies coming out of the printer,
Hmm, I know. I
or
know.
the dogs protecting their little toddlers.
Yes, the dogs protecting the
Oh my
toddlers is
God, I
big
can't.
too. You know,
You
there's
mean
a
those aren't real?
That's what I'm saying.
no, or the dog and the cat. My mom has two that she watches where a cat and a baby look at each other and start laughing. And she has like, she watches TikTok and she sees that and she laughs every time she sees this baby giggling. And I know it's AI, but I like it. So you can like it.
So
Um,
I have one question if we could go back to
yeah,
the internet stuff. I was once just sitting here minding my own business on my computer, not clicking on anything or so I didn't think I had, but all of a sudden I got this flash saying you know like I lost control of the screen and it started doing all these crazy things. So I immediately just shut down my computer.
good.
So
Excellent.
that could just happen, right? And they're just trying to
Mhm.
suck you in.
That can just happen. There's some of those, remember I was talking about the fake links that can get stuck into Facebook or whatever, where they take away the kitten and they put in the fake link.
Mm-hmm.
Links bring you to a website where it'll say, warning, warning, yada da da, blah, 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 scream, scream, noise, noise, scream,
Right,
scream.
right, right.
And again, it's trying to make you go, oh, so you react instead of think critically. So they hit you with all of these noises.
Okay.
And what it does is they'll have that phone number, like we talked about before, with the phone number to call Microsoft or call the technician to fix this and turn it off.
Right.
What you do is exactly what you did, is you can turn off your computer, especially if they block it that you can't hit the X. Because what they do too is every website has that X on the side,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they'll put an image over it. So it looks like you're clicking it, but you're really not clicking it. It's behind the little image. It's an image that looks like they're really sneaky, horrible people. So when you turn off your computer after you've done that, they'll turn it back on. It'll probably take a longer time because you did not turn off your computer properly. But this was an emergency. You can
Mm-hmm.
turn it off that way. When you go back to your browser and it asks you, do you want to restore your previous tabs? You say no. Because one of that noisy, horrible thing that happened just now
Is in there.
was a browser tab. And as long as you say, nope, no, thank you, I don't want to see that again, you can
Okay.
do that. If you have a little more tech ability, you can also, instead of turning off your computer, you can do Control Alt Delete and
Right.
bring up the task manager and find your browser in the list and end that task. So either one is appropriate way to fix that. And it happens. It's not a mistake. You didn't do anything wrong. You actually did everything right because they failed in their attempt to trick you. So, so that's a pretty common one. And I hate that one because I hate the noise of it.
Yeah.
It's a pretty rough one. I'm going to put my um, email in the chat because, as always, any of the sessions that I do here, it's not a one and done. And sometimes cybersecurity questions are private ones. So if you want to email me your question or your concern, I'm happy to write you back and tell you, give you tips, give you advice on what you can do to protect yourself. And sometimes you actually tell me about a new hack or a new thing that's out there that I should know about and should share with people in the future. So anytime you have cybersecurity concerns, feel free to write me. We have a whole list of past cybersecurity things. This is a very popular class that we've run over the last 9 years. So there's a library of them at this point. So you can look at any of those and see if there's other information you're interested in learning about as well. Any other questions? I'll stay until, I'll be the last one here, so you can stay as long as you like, but if you have anything to go, Feel free to leave now if you wanted to. No pressure. Appreciate you being here. But if you have more questions and you want them answered, I'll stay. I'll be the last person to leave the Zoom.
And the next Tech Labs is 2 weeks from now on the 25th. We are going to cover social media. Probably, Pam, I don't know, you've got all kinds of tricks up your sleeve. So we'll be talking about everything related to your social media platform, probably your security aspect of it, and just everything about what you
Security,
do. So we'll see
and
you in
we'll
2 weeks.
cover in 2 weeks. Yep, and we'll cover, how to use it effectively. So if you actually are selling anything or you want to promote something, we'll cover those items as well. So it'll be the ways to have fun, find
Mhm.
pictures, says, oh, they sent me that. I don't know where it is. We'll cover all those things too.
And thanks for coming, everyone. Nice to see you
Thank
all.
you. Bye.
Pam, I have a question.
Sure.